we are going to continue from the history of the Kaaba. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now, due to the presence of the house of God, the Kaaba, a number of people from all over Arabia would come there to seek the blessings of the idols placed in the Kaaba. The pilgrims would make offerings which resulted in great prosperity for the city. Seeing this, there were others who tried to build similar houses of worship in their region, hoping to divert people from Mecca to their cities. Abraha built a similar house at Yemen. Do you remember who Abraha was? What did he try to do to the Kaaba?
I forgot.
Something with what animals? He tried to destroy it.
I'm not sure. Maybe camels again.
No, it was the elephants. That means you were not listening to the story last time, so hopefully
I was really tired, that's why.
Yeah, you were tired. That's fine. That was last year. Okay, so Abraha built a similar house at Yemen, like the Kaaba. But they failed to attract pilgrims as no one seemed interested in their houses of worship. The Arabs preferred the ancient house built by the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Ibrahim is also known as Abraham in English. Therefore, Abraha, the governor of Yemen, finally decided to destroy the Kaaba built by Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, as he felt that this was the only way people from all around Arabia would be diverted to Yemen, to the country of Yemen, to the house of worship, which he had recently built and decorated beautifully. So he set out for Mecca with a large army, including a number of horses and over a dozen giant elephants. Certain people tried to stop him from travelling to Mecca with the evil intention of destroying the Kaaba. The king of Himyar, Dhu Nafar, and the ruler of Khatam area, Nufail ibn Habib, tried to stop Abraha, but they failed to do so. On the way to Mecca, Abraha stopped at Taif. There, one of the leaders of the tribe of Thaqif, whose name was Masud ibn Mu'attib, assisted him by providing him with a guide whose name was Abu Rijal. Abu Rijal escorted Abraha's army, and on the way, the army encamped at a place called Mughammas, midway between Taif and Mecca. There, Abraha sent one of his men, whose name was Aswad ibn Maqsud, to find out more about Mecca and the people living there. When Aswad ibn Maqsud reached Mecca, people gathered around him. He told the Meccans that Abraha had not come to fight with them. His sole intention in coming there was to destroy the Kaaba. There were many camels, cattle and sheep grazing outside Mecca. Abraha's men took away all the camels and sheep, etc. with them. Can you believe that? What type of men were they? They took away those camels and everything. Were they kind men?
I don't think so.
They're greedy, weren't they? They took several camels belonging to Abdul Muttalib, who was the chief of Mecca and the grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Abdul Muttalib came to know about his camels being taken away by Abraha, he went to the place where Abraha had encamped and met him in his tent. Abraha greeted Abdul Muttalib and met him with honor and respect, as Abdul Muttalib was a great guy. Abraha said, "What brought you here?" "You have taken many of my camels," replied Abdul Muttalib. "I have come to take them back." "But I was expecting that you, being the chief of Mecca, would plead with me not to destroy the Kaaba," retorted Abraha in wonder. "I have come to destroy the Kaaba, and you are talking of your camels?" added Abraha in amazement. "I am the lord of the camels, so I have come to take them back," retorted Abdul Muttalib. "There is a lord of the Kaaba too, and he will save it." Abraha was surprised and became speechless, hearing the profound words of Abdul Muttalib, which were full of wisdom and conviction. So Abraha allowed him to take his camels. Abdul Muttalib happily took custody of his camels and left for Mecca. Upon reaching Mecca, he told the Meccans to leave their homes and go up to the mountains, because Abraha, with his enormous army, was coming to destroy the Kaaba.
Mommy, why did they want to destroy the Kaaba?
Because he was jealous and he wanted the equivalent of the Kaaba in Yemen. He wanted people from all over Arabia to come to his country, his region, not to Mecca. The Meccans prayed to Allah to save the Kaaba, and as advised by Abdul Muttalib, they left their homes and took shelter in the nearby hills, so they went up into the mountains. The next day, Abraha commanded his formidable army to set out towards Mecca at the break of the dawn. The army slowly marched towards the city of Mecca. When Abdul Muttalib saw a huge cloud of dust and sand coming towards him from a distance, he realized that the army of Abraha was now approaching Mecca with the sole intention of destroying their what?
Kabah.
Well done. Abdul Muttalib hastened to the Kaaba and took hold of its door handle and prayed to Allah to save the Kaaba from the evil intentions of Abraha. Oh Allah.
This one is funner.
Yeah. Oh Allah, save us from the army, save us from their evil designs, save our Qibla. If the Kaaba is destroyed, we will be destroyed too. With such prayers and deep emotions, Abdul Muttalib told the Meccans to move out of the city and climb up the mountains as they had no power to fight against the terrifying army of Abraha. And remember, Abraha also came with elephants, right? So the people listened to their chief, and all of them, one by one, moved out of their houses, men, women, and children. And they climbed the nearby mountains to save themselves from being trampled by the elephants of Abraha. I can show you the elephants over here. Can you see?
Elephant's cool.
Yeah, but these ones were coming to destroy the Kaaba, obviously ordered by Abraha. Abraha's massive army, at the head of which were several large and fierce elephants, approached Mecca. The elephants were roaring with their trunks upwards, and the soldiers were chanting and praising their commander and King Abraha. Abraha was confident that he would demolish the Kaaba, that he would destroy it without any resistance from the people of Mecca, because he was thinking, how could they, right, fight Abraha and his army, a large army with elephants? Who has the courage to fight against such a massive army, thought Abraha. But all of a sudden, the elephants, who had been trumpeting in the most frightening way, stopped moving. The elephants stood still, like statues. What's the statue?
What's a statue? It's,
No.
It's made out of stone.
Yeah, and how are they?
They're like
How do
frozen.
they move? They don't move, do they?
They're frozen.
Do the impression of a statue. Okay. The elephants stood still like statues and refused to move even one step. The mahouts, who were driving the elephants, pierced, pricked, and stabbed them with sharp-pointed instruments. How awful is that? They tried to make them move, but that's how they did it. But this had no effect on the elephants. They stood stock still. Besides that, flocks of birds flew over the army, carrying pebbles in their beaks and claws. They showered the pebbles on Abraha's army. Due to this, the whole army was afflicted with a strange disease. The soldiers were terrified and took flight. They ran away. The elephants then went berserk and began to trample over them. Dum, 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 dum. There was complete disorder and confusion in the army. Seeing this chaos, Abraha at once decided to order his army to return. So instead of marching forward and entering Mecca, the army turned away and fled towards Yemen. They were going back towards the country of Yemen. In this miraculous way, Allah saved the Kaaba from the evil intentions of Abraha. On the way back to Yemen, many soldiers, horses, and elephants began to die. By the time they reached Sana'a in Yemen, most of the strongest army men had died on the way. Abraha himself fell sick and passed away soon after arriving at his home in Yemen. So he died. He was a very evil man. So there's a dua
Good on
here.
him that he
Yeah.
died.
There's a dua here, and it goes like this. Oh Allah, help me to remember you, to give you thanks, and to perform your worship in the best manner. And we know Allah in English means God. Okay? So the dua in Arabic is Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatika. So that's the end of the story regarding Abraha, and that was part of the history of the Kaaba. Now, in our next story session, we're going to go through the birth of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's actually going to be this page.
Well, I want to read
Inshallah.
his birth right now.
Okay, we will inshallah. We'll make another video. So is there anything that you want to say to the guests who have joined our story session time?
I really love the stories that we're making.
Yeah, and you hope that they loved it too. And also, if you like this video,
Subscribe.
yes, and like, yeah, and press the bell notification so you get new updates. Say thank you
Thank you.
for joining our session. Until next time, say